Hello everybody, Breggy here again after a very long time, but today I have a DeltaForce Alpha video for you guys. Now I know it has been a while since I uploaded a video on YouTube, but with DeltaForce right now, I actually found the motivation back to try and pick it up again. The DeltaForce Alpha came out a few days ago and I have been streaming it a lot. I first wanted to make a first impressions video and everything like a lot of YouTubers do, but I didn't really find the time without the playing. So instead of like focusing on a first impressions video, I'm gonna just talk about like what I like right now and what I dislike right now about the DeltaForce Alpha. And while I'm talking about these things, I want you guys to enjoy the round in the background. We were playing Cracked on Attack, and it is a very good round. I think I ended 39-4. It's not really a very long round, but there are a few interesting moments in there. So I would say enjoy that while you listen to my likes and dislikes about the game. The biggest like that I have about DeltaForce is probably that I finally have a feeling again of playing a soldier on a battlefield. With chaos, weapons, different people running around. Just like the overall vibe of being on a battlefield. And Battlefield is maybe like the wrong term for it, because I don't think Battlefield and DeltaForce are the same thing. They do have similarities, and I know a lot of people will be doing comparison videos about it. I'm not gonna go like into detail about that, but I just have a little bit of that feeling back when I'm playing DeltaForce that I had in the older Battlefield titles. And that's a really good thing, because it motivates me to continue playing this game, and just overall, I like the feel of the game. And I know the DeltaForce is only an alpha, but the fact that in the alpha, we had 2 game modes, multiple maps, and so many weapons that we can like fool around with. And you're gonna see it as well in this video. I actually made a revolver that is not really a revolver, but it's actually a pocket sniper. I did get some nice kills with it. It's not super effective because it's kind of like weird on the reload. It's a long reload. And it's just like overall not super strong, but nonetheless it's still fun to play with. I'm not a super fan about the attack and defense mode, because as an attacker, well, obviously you can always attack and it's fun because you have to pressure the enemy. But like on defense, I don't know. I don't really like the rounds on defense, because you're just always forced to like play in a very small size of the map, and the only thing you have to do is defend. You cannot really offensively attack anything or like capture something, because you just have to hold your own objective. But I don't know. I think there was a different game mode that they announced. I think it was called like King of the Hill or something, where it's gonna be more like a bit of like conquest, like in Battlefield, where you have, well, multiple points on the map, where you would be able to like attack or defend multiple points at the same time. So that gives it a little bit more dynamic. I kind of like those game modes more, because I mean, I know a lot of people watched my videos for the Locker and Metro meat grind videos, but I mean, I'm not really like super over it or anything, but if it's like too much, and sometimes it is too much, especially with all the bots running around, I will get into that into a minute. But not only with the bots, but there's a lot of grenade spams, a lot of like, just in general, a lot of chaos on some moments, and sometimes it's a bit too much. And if you would be playing like on multiple parts of the map, it would be possible to avoid it or like limit it to certain instances, and right now it's just all the time. I mean, let's discuss the bots. Right now, that is probably my #1 frustration in the game, is that, first of all, you do not know if you're playing actually versus a bot, or if you're playing with real people. So sometimes if you get killed, you don't really know if it's just a guy with a really snappy aim, or it's just an aimbot that just auto-locks to you and just sprays you down. It would be nice if it's actually like mentioned in the name, because if you compare it to Battlefield, I do have to give credit for that. In the AI of Battlefield, they actually mention it in the player name. So you know that's an AI player that actually kills you. Then you know that an AI killed you and not a real player. In DeltaForce, you don't really know that, because apparently, and that's what I've heard, rumors said that there are actually players with TTV in their name. Which is kind of weird, because you think they're actually real players, but apparently they're bots. Just bots with the TTV tag in their name. And sometimes it's just very frustrating, because you're doing a good flank, but it's getting countered by the AI that is just insta-locking you. I definitely would like the AI bots to be completely deleted from the multiplayer game, but I know they actually made it already, so I highly doubt they will actually completely delete it. But it would be nice if they would just be able to make it as an option. For example, in like unranked, where you would be able to like just select it like, yes, I want to play with bots. But in ranked mode, I don't really feel that bots should be in there because people want to measure themselves against other players. I don't want to measure myself in ranked versus bots. That just doesn't make any sense. And my second source of frustration in the game is probably the vaulting. I have had multiple, uncountable, I don't even count them anymore, times that I died because I was vaulting when I didn't want to vault, or I was not vaulting when I should actually been vaulting. And it just feels like a cheap way to die, especially because you have an idea what you want to do and the execution just doesn't follow. And no, I'm not talking about doing stupid things in the game, okay? Sometimes things just don't work out because it doesn't work like you planned it. And I know, of course, it's only an alpha and not everybody has access to the game. I hope really everybody gets in and gets to experience this game because it's definitely worth it. I know they passed 1 million subscribers on the wishlist on Steam, which is insane and fantastic for the franchise because it shows that a lot of people care and they want to try the game out. For those that still do not have a key, be patient and get lucky with the drops. Maybe there are still some streamers or YouTubers that actually have some keys left that you can grab and just try the game out. It's definitely worth it. And I know DeltaForce is not Battlefield, and I'm totally okay with that, because we are playing a completely different franchise of a completely different FPS. I don't know. It feels for me right now that the operators that are in the game, or just maybe operators that will be, I don't know, announced in the future, it feels like they have a really big impact about what is going on the battlefield. Let's take, for example, Stinger. Not only does he have unlimited health, if you take an ammo box, you can keep on resupplying your teammates, and you have unlimited smoke with a smoke grenade and a smoke drone. That just seems a little bit over the top for being a medic on the battlefield. And I know DeltaForce is not Battlefield, and that's completely okay, because it's a completely different franchise. But what I am kind of like afraid about is that the impact of the operators is becoming greater than what the developers actually told us before the alpha came out. If I'm not mistaken, I think they mentioned that the operators are not going to have a significant impact on the gameplay. But as I've been playing for the last couple of days, I feel like really some operators are a lot stronger than others, and it would just make more sense to play with those than with other ones. Maybe I just don't like the idea of operators on a battlefield, but we're playing a completely different franchise, so I think I'll just have to adapt and see how it goes from there. As long as the balance is good and the bots are out of the game, I think it would be a lot more enjoyable to play. And I know a lot of people are just like fooling around, messing with different gun customizations or different paths to take on attack or defense. And overall, I'm just having a blast right now. It's so refreshing to actually finally play a game that just gives back that feeling of being on a battlefield. It's just amazing. Like, yeah, I've been waiting for this for a very, very, very long time. And even the tactical turmoil, the extraction mode of DeltaForce, is really fun to play. It's like the light version of Escape from Tarkov, the non-hardcore one, the non-brutal one, and it's just enjoyable to walk around, killing a few bots. Once in a while, you'll run into a team of other players that you can, like, well, try to eliminate, get their loot, get out, you know, maybe even kill or slash a crocodile, and then, you know, just get the loot. What I would like to see maybe is this solo mode for the extraction mode, because right now, if you would be playing alone or your squad abandons you and you would be fighting against 3 other people, well, you're not really gonna have a good time, right? I still have to level up to level 12 in Tactical Turmoil, so I don't really have access yet to the confidential operations, which apparently are a lot harder to complete, but I will see what I can do in the next few days. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about the call-ins in the game. As most of you probably already know, you can call in a cluster missile, which basically just targets a very big area of the map, and it just explodes everybody in there. Well, it knocks back teammates, but it eliminates enemies. And although the cluster missile costs 14,000 points, it is quite difficult to actually get those 14,000 points in some of the games. like in the game in the background, I didn't even make it to 14,000 points because the defense, well, didn't really do a good job. But in those other games, especially on Ascension, where the defense actually has better, well, let's say foxholes or defensive positions set up, where sometimes you can actually see at the end station up to like 4, I've even seen like 5 or 6 cluster missiles being launched every moment you can actually launch a cluster missile, making the experience of that game mode and that map actually, well, basically horrible. Or you're getting knocked down 24/7, or you're getting spawn killed by a cluster missile. Well, I'm totally okay with the smoke barrage and the, well, the artillery barrage, or like a tactical spawn beacon for your teammates, or a vehicle call-in. But I think the cluster missile is just a little bit too much. It kind of reminds me of the Battlefield 1, like V1 rocket that you could launch. Everybody was like super excited in the beginning and showed their kill streak and like the massive casualties that you can do with the bomb. But eventually, once and more maps you play and more rockets you launch or get launched towards you, you kind of like, well, dislike it more and more. So I would want to see this out of the game. Or maybe being changed by something else that could be useful as a supportive measure instead of just well, basically launching a nuke on the map. Well, we don't know what they're going to be introducing into the game into the future. We're only playing an alpha right now. A lot of things may change. A lot of things may be adapted, tweaked, balanced. There can be completely new things into the game. There can be things taken out of the game. What I really like about DeltaForce is that they have a very active way to engage with their community. They have a very active social media. They have active Discord community. They're asking feedback in terms of forums for people to fill in. I think they're just doing a really good job with the community in general. And I just hope you guys get more keys so everybody can try this alpha out. I don't think there is an end date on the alpha yet. But since there's still some drops on the 17th of August for the Player Infinite launcher, I think they will be able to play until like the end of August or maybe even to September. Since I'm capping the last C2 flag of the enemy team here, this means we're also coming to an end of the video. I have probably missed some topics or some stuff that I wanted to say or mention or even give my thoughts about, but I mean, we can always do it in the next video. The only thing remaining for me right now is to ask you about feedback. Do you like these kind of types of content, or do you want to see different things? Let me know in the comments below. It's always very good for me to get some feedback. I haven't really done videos like this in a while. Mainly the last few years I've been focusing on streaming, but this might be a different take on what I want to share with you guys and girls on DeltaForce. I do feel that this game is going to be my new main game to play. It has all the effects that basically I'm looking for in a game. You have chaos, different weapons, good gunplay, gameplay, mechanics. Everything is in there. The only thing I may be missing is a little bit of balancing, deletion of the bots, stuff like that. But I mean, we're still playing an alpha. There's a lot of room. They're listening to the community. So I'm really looking at this game from a very positive take. And I'm really looking forward how this game is going to release. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, a dislike. And if you want to watch content live, you can watch it on my Twitch channel.
Artillery cover coming. Get ready to engage. We have just commenced our assault. Artillery cover coming. Get ready to engage.